ninth grade, you know how to do this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, Mr. Porter.
That's what I'm talking about. I'd like to take just a second to welcome everybody to the fourth and final night of writing. We have a very full house tonight, so we're just going to get rolling and move quickly. There's lots of cookies back there, and we have to eat every single one of them since it's closing night, so I expect you to take some for the road if we don't manage to finish them. At this point, I would like to start by asking everybody to please turn off your cell phone if you have one. Of course, ninth graders have already done that. I think, if I could, I'll start off with a short piece I wrote, which just gives you an idea of some of my thinking that I did in preparation for this night. And the piece that I wrote ties back to Parent Night, which seems like a long time ago. So I wrote, early in September, those of you who came to Parent Night, listened to me talk about heuristics. A heuristic, remember, is a set of mental tools to draw upon when solving a problem. Heuristics can range in scope from how to figure out if a character in a story is reliable to how to walk in someone else's shoes or build a healthy relationship. To me, working together to build heuristics for writing upon the world, reading literature, and living life is the most important work we do in English 9. Because once students have begun to master the use of these important tools, they don't need me anymore. My goal is to provide my students the support and heuristics they need to think usefully for themselves during their time in the class and for the rest of their lives. With this in mind, we've been building a heuristic for recognizing and confronting injustice in both our lives and in the wider world with realism and empathy. The poetry and prose you are about to listen to this evening is remarkable for many reasons, one of which is the honest, often uncomfortably adult recognition these writers have about the injustice, intolerance, and anger they see in their world. A good heuristic, like any good tool, has a purposefully keen edge, which necessitates caution and responsibility on the part of the user. Sometimes, this edge strips away the noise of the world to reveal something truly beautiful. But the reverse is also true. And it can seem discouraging at times to realize just how wide awake these young adults are to elements of our society we would all like to shelter them from. However, I think we must always remember that the first step in resolving any conflict, in solving any problem, is a frank recognition of its existence. Every one of these pieces accomplishes this step with tremendous honesty and courage. Listen carefully, because it's what comes next, the next step, that will really blow your hair back, if you have hair, or socks off, if that's what you got. Though the writings of these young authors may sometimes seem dark at the beginning, it's nearly impossible for this darkness to overshadow the capacity for hope, humor, love, and boundless optimism that makes high school students such a joy to spend time with. Champion Barone wrote a beautiful piece for this evening about his journey towards the joy of independence, of acknowledging the tendency of the world to try and make its mark upon us, and responding by taking pride in finding ways to push back and revel in doing some things differently. It's an incredible piece, and it, along with all of the others you're about to hear tonight, give me hope.
I audition a future on a stage. I audition a future amidst fellow performers, sharing with them charisma and trust, earned lengthily through blissful trials of confidence. I audition a future of radiant limelight, reciting, memorizing, moving, vocalizing, basking. I audition a future of light-hearted improvisation, responding wittily to the givers. I audition a future of tedious changes, monotonous adjusting, and humdrum redos until the story is ready. I audition a future in which I don a ridiculous combination of string and plastic, hardly justifiable clothing, engulfed by the monstrosity of melodrama, shouting and singing and prancing about like a bumbling idiot, enjoying it thoroughly all the while. I audition a future yet in which the clothing on my back is realistic, in which emotions and vocalism I project aren't quite as stupid, but serious and deep as I mirror reality to the hearers. I audition a future of cash parties, dollar store memento gifts, cheap pizza, and uproarious laughter. And after all these things, I audition looking down at a small rectangular piece of paper held in my hand. And as necessary as its numbers are, it doesn't seem quite as important when I look up and see again warm, smiling faces around me. I audition a future of friends. I audition a future in which reality becomes the age-old dream. Calling what you do for a living work seems stupid and uptight. The dream where one attains a small rectangular piece of paper to have fun and screw around, to do what he loves. I'll never work a day in my life, or I audition a future on the stage.
No one believes she can make things okay. No one tries to keep her out of trouble she can make. No one keeps her from being alone, just all alone. She's just a piece of dust floating into space, wandering without a single trace. Her human face has dissolved into something unnatural. She's a pale ghost floating the world without a choice. No one understands what she's going through. No one knows the truth. They just infer the situation and keep to their youth, and she stands all alone. Everyone has fled from her. Her view is now a blur. Her point of view won't be seen by you, because you'll turn away too when she lies to you.
Met a woman, she used to make me shy, but all it took was a piece of candy to make me reply. I learned to love her, I hope she knows. Now I'll always remember her and never want to let go. She would greet me every week, and ever since that we just met, and all it took was a piece of candy to make me never forget.
As I walk down the long, dark hallways, I hear the whispers like, look at her, why is her face red, Ginger? As the long, lonely days go by, I wish I could just go hide in a corner. Then I think, why? Why do I look like this? Why can't I just go away? It'll all do everyone a favor. The pain in the words in which people say to me brings me pain, and every day I try to overcome it. And one day I will. Every day these words repeat and repeat in my head, and I wonder if people realize how much these words hurt me, or kill me ever so slightly inside. And the very first day I heard these words was the very first day I believed in pain, and how pain is very hard to overcome, but you can do it if you just believe in yourself. See, now pain is something that someone may feel at least once in their lifetime, but it always can be overcome. Now my story about pain may be very similar to other people, but then again it may not. I know that I can overcome my pain, but sometimes I feel like it will be inside me forever. This is because I have red hair, and I can't help that because it's part of me, and sometimes people never let me forget it. And sometimes I just want to explode. This is why people have friends that support you through thick and thin. They make me laugh and sometimes make me laugh so hard I cry. Then I think to myself, do any of them really know the real me? They tell me I will laugh about it later and ignore it, but they don't realize how hard it is. Times like these, I feel like screaming. One time there was this teacher, and he said right to my face, redheads are like vampires, cold as always. I would have never expected that from an adult, and she was my teacher. This was the time that I wish there was someone there to hold me tightly and cradle me in their arms. That's when I found it. Pain is everywhere to me. It's in the air in which people breathe and speak. But it's the way you overcome these words and overcome the pain is what matters the most. The way I overcome these feelings and words was I started to trust a lot more people. I got lots of friends. I started to care and not to care anymore about people's comments. I came to love my hair and I fell in love. I am finally okay with who I really am. Now no one can get in the way of me. I feel invincible. I never want to look back. I'm okay now. I no longer feel the pain. Most of all, I don't even believe in it. The pain is finally gone.
Trash on the ground and the dirt in the air, the cars and the smog and the filth all around. My one human self, how dare they poison me? They don't know what they're doing. They don't even want to realize the harm they're causing. All they care about is what's convenient for themselves. Not only am I weighed down by this pain, but my brothers and sisters have nothing to gain. From the cutting and burning of our once natural homes, that they're replacing and coating with towering stones that spew fumes and ashes and our own deadly gases. When our ecosphere crashes and smashes the towers of doom, and all their smoke and plumes are fragments of our past, then the aliens will return at last.
I believe in Frosted Flakes. I believe in the perfect, crunchy layer of sugar that greets me every morning. I believe in the one thing that makes having processed sugar dunked in milk for breakfast normal. And while I don't exactly believe in the 140 calories and 30 carbohydrates that come with every handful, I truly believe in the 1 gram of protein that makes this food group acceptable. I believe in the sugar-coated society, the one that waves to me on a billboard full of perfect teenagers saying buy this or be uncool. I believe in that simple gesture of a smile from the essentially baby girl, born and raised in an alcoholic family, is the one thing that makes my head not boil over with anger, pity, and guilt. Yet, as I can't make myself believe that those tents hoisted up in downtown Boise are there for a slumber party, I'm forced to notice that I'm doing nothing to help them. I see the images of a land defined by the slumped shoulders of a woman shamed by AIDS, and the swollen ankles of a stomach of a child who will not be fed tonight and most likely any nights in the future. I see the families huddled around a fire, mothers crying because they had to run before they could bury their sons in a deep enough grave to keep out the animals, and fathers without enough to feed their newborns, all turned into statistics, simple numbers, so I don't have to see the terrors, the crying, the screams behind those numbers. But how am I supposed to believe that just an ocean away, thousands of humans are sleeping starved when everyone at my lunch table just threw away their inedible applesauce or PB&J? When $100 is spent on a new must-have and not 5 cents on a life-saving charity? I can't force myself to believe that I've not heard this before. So how do I live day to day, not able to change my wasteful and inconsiderate ways? Do I have enough dignity and wisdom to try oat flakes for a while? I don't know. Maybe it's time to follow the few others who realize one's problems can always be topped by someone else's. Then again, after a tiring day of classes in a free and well-built school, walks each way through a safe neighborhood, an evening of homework in my room listening to music on a $200 toy, and having to bathe and clean in hot water. Heck, I need that sugar crystal sweetness that crunches in my mouth. I'm a loyal citizen of a sugar-coated society.